Here I am. All right, folks, so this is part 2 of my series, Why Am I Too Dumb to Understand Crypto? Thank you for following part 1. I think I had a bit of a slow process. Supposedly, I am good at understanding or having foresight into novel technology and how this could impact business processes or societal changes, but truly I've been having a hard time wrapping my mind, intuitively around what crypto does. What is it? Why do we need this? What's the point? Why are people getting super rich just buying some picture of a dog? I don't know. And so, since I'm now unemployed, I have a bit of time to check what's up in the world of technology. Um, I have my tea with me. I have to stop drinking coffee. This is giving me like severe anxiety. And the feedback I got from the first video is that I am rumbling and mumbling, which is just, I guess, my thought process. I understand this is not always understandable, so I will try to improve the way I speak and properly read what I am reading so that you don't have to rely on the screen and you can do your dishes while listening to crypto. Um, Here's what I remember from last time. First of all, I remember that there are some blocks, and in these blocks, transactions or data was stored. This data box is called a ledger, where each one of these transactions are recorded. The transactions could be from anyone, and it's not only public but also distributed, meaning the information is not in one central data storage, but it's basically copied in all of the different computers all over the world. And even though it's transparent, it's anonymous. So, it's pseudo anonymous, if I remember correctly, meaning that you don't know the identity of the people who are sending, money to each other or data to each other, but you know the kind of address. And the fact that this is distributed between so many different people, it allows for more transparency. It allows that you don't have one single person who could change the info that is inside of these blocks. And I think, as far as I remember, additionally, you have every block is referring from the block before, so you cannot introduce any new data, beforehand. And this kind of ensures a huge traceability. And then I think I had a question around like, what's the deal with all of these different computers that I have a copy? Like, what if one person wants to edit it or what's or not? And I think there was this topic that you have like individual people or like companies or institutions that all have a copy of this blockchain. But even if one node is hacked, there are so many different other nodes that have a copy of the information, and that there are systems of verifying, system of verification, and that this verification method system is not the only one, and there are multiple layers out there. And then I think we were there stuck in this level of knowledge, and today I want to understand three things. First of all, I want to understand like how this mining and stuff is working. I want to understand why is currency? What is the topic with currency? Like, why are there so many coins, and why can't we have just one coin? Like, what's the deal here? And then the last thing is I want to understand the real use cases. So I worked in the pharmaceutical industry in the past, so I know that we had one use case which was for medication authenticity, meaning that you can track at each data point of your supply chain if the medication, was not diverted, if this is the real drug that was put in this real truck that went to this real country, because I think there were some cases in the industry that that there's fake drugs, right? Fake medication, fake vaccines, fake everything, and it's a huge market apparently, of black market, you know, a criminal market, and that there was this European initiative from the pharma industry to try to see how blockchain could help against this criminality. That was like one of my only real world knowledge of like what blockchain could be used for. I don't know if it necessarily requires blockchain, so I'm really curious to see what can be done with blockchain. So yeah, I'm so excited to learn more today. I'm gonna then kind of put my setup together and share my screen, drink my non-caffeinated drink, and kind of harass ChatGPT to get more knowledge. And also some crypto bros send me some videos that I must absolutely watch. Hey, you have to watch this video, it's gonna be so good. So let's listen to the crypto bros and see what can be learned today. All right, so this is where we were. We were wondering, what does proof of work consensus mechanism mean? And what kind of enterprise uses they could be. And then really just wondering the financial topic of crypto. What does it mean for the future of financial institutions? And, you know, how could this kind of shake the world of, like, you know, classical finance, but also, you know, innovation, financing, and things like this. So let's ask ourselves, what does proof of work consensus mechanism mean in the context of blockchain? You are a blockchain expert who is fantastic at explaining things simply. I'm losing my English right now. What does proof of work consensus mechanism mean in the context of blockchain? Okay, let's see. I'm so curious. Okay, so imagine a giant digital ledger where everyone agrees on the history of transactions. Okay. In a blockchain using the proof of work consensus mechanism, this agreement is reached through a process that involves solving tough mathematical puzzles. Here's a simple breakdown. The puzzle challenge. The miners, who are participants in the network, I remember this, compete to solve a complex math problem. Think of it like a race where everyone is trying to crack a code. The problem is designed to be difficult so that it takes significant computing power and time to solve. Adding a new block. The first miner who solves the puzzle gets the privilege of adding a new block of transactions to the blockchain. This new block is then broadcast to the entire network. Okay, this is kind of the concept that we knew about. Verification and security. Other nodes in the network quickly verify that the solution, and therefore the new block, is correct. Because solving the puzzle required so much computational effort, it's very hard for anyone to tamper with a block. To alter a block, a malicious actor would have to redo the work for that block and all following blocks, a task that is practically impossible on a large decentralized network. Okay? Reward system. As a reward for their effort and the resources they expended, the miner who solved the puzzles received newly minted cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, along with any transaction fees included in the block. This incentivizes honest participation in the network. In summary, the proof of work consensus mechanism is a way to ensure that all the participants in a blockchain agree on a single, tamper-resistant history of transactions by requiring them to perform significant computational work. The process secures the network and makes it extremely difficult for any single party to manipulate the system. Okay, I have a question. Is this puzzle solved by brute force? Meaning, is it something like, you know what I mean? Like if you have this lock for the locker that has numbers and you don't have any clue on how to do it, is the puzzle solved like by putting 0000 and then 0001, 0002, and then trying every single combination until it's solved, and that's why it's costing a lot of energy? So this is what I'm not sure about. So maybe I can ask, can you give an example of the puzzle challenge? I mean, maybe it's a very complicated one. And I hope it understands that it's in the previous context. Yeah, I think it's understanding it. Because I don't want to have like a 3-year-old level puzzle. Okay, so far it's very complicated, but I think the O3 Mini, we still didn't get a GPT update in the last 48 hours, but oh, whoa, okay, it gave me like a huge block. This is so crazy. Okay, the goal of the I'm getting a headache already. Maybe we have to make this series like a 4-part series. The goal of the puzzle. The miners must find a special number called a nonce, that when combined with the block's data and passed through a cryptographic hash function produces a hash with a specific pattern. I don't know what is a hash. I think I've read it once. Wait, okay, this is too complicated. Okay, what is a hash? Sorry, I am a beginner. I'm being very nice to GPT just in case the singularity comes too early. You never know. Okay, what is a hash? What is a hash? What is a hash? In simple terms, a hash is like a digital fingerprint for data. It takes any kind of data, could be a sentence, a file, or even a whole block of transactions, and converts it into a fixed length. I had some comments on my French accent last time, so a fixed length string of letters and numbers. Here's a breakdown of what that means. Fixed length output. No matter how big or how small your input data is, the hash function produces an output, the hash, that is always the same length. For example, the SHA256 hash function always produces a 64 character string. This is interesting. The gears are turning in my head, so please bear with me for a second. So let's say I have a password. I have a password A. Whatever the length of the password, the hash function will take my password and turn it into a 64 character string. Okay. I think I've seen this. Maybe. No, I'm not sure actually. I thought I've seen this like for patients in the hospital, that whenever you enter, you have like a pseudo-anonymous number. Like this, if you do scientific research or something, you don't see the details of each patient, but you just see their kind of code bar number. And so you don't know, Sabria has this or that illness, but you only see the medical data. But maybe it's not this. Okay, sorry, I'm digressing. Okay. A hash acts like a unique identifier for your data. Even a tiny change in the input, like changing one letter, will result in a completely different hash. This makes sense. This makes it great for checking if data has been altered. So it makes sense in the context of blockchain, actually. Deterministic. The same input will always produce the same hash when processed by the same hash function. This means if you hash a particular file today and again tomorrow, the hash will be identical, as long as the file hasn't changed. One-way functions. The hash functions are designed to be one-way. This means it's easy to go from the original data to the hash, but impossible to reverse the process. For example, you can figure out the original data just by looking at its hash. Ooh, cool. An everyday analogy. Imagine if you have a special kind of blender. You put in any ingredient, say a fruit, and the blender always outputs a smoothie of exactly the same color and texture for that fruit. Even if you try to recreate the fruit from the smoothie, it wouldn't be possible. The smoothie is just a unique summary of the fruit. Ah, this is really cool. Oh, and also it fits with the word hash, so I guess this makes sense. Similarly, a hash is a summary of your data that uniquely identifies it without revealing the data itself. Okay, this is cool. This is cool. Okay, okay, we got it. Why hashes are important in blockchain? If someone alters a transaction or a block, the hash will change, of course, because we know that even a slight change in this block will create a different hash. And other nodes in the network can detect the tampering by comparing the new hash with the original one. Cool. Linking blocks. In a blockchain, each block includes the hash of the previous. Ah, this is so brilliant. This is so elegant. Oh, this is so clever. Oh my God, this is so cool. This creates a chain of blocks that is very hard to alter because changing one block would require changing every subsequent block. So if I understood it correctly, now in the blockchain, that basically you have this riddle. I'm using very simplistic wording, but this is probably my science communication background. Every time you simplify, it becomes wrong. But so then the next block includes the hash of the previous block. So basically you have a sequence of verificators, and each subsequent verificator includes as its kind of secret sentence or password or whatever inside of it the verificator of the previous block. So you cannot go in and change like one block in the middle because it would be seen and it would ruin all of the verification of all of the blockchain. So it's very hard to just change one piece of. This is so brilliant. Oh my God, I'm having like a. This is really elegant, actually. This is such an aha moment. Because every single subtle change in the original data will change the consequence, will change the hash. So you cannot go in and change the data because it would change the hash, and then the hash would change the next hash because it's included in the previous one. Oh my God, this is so exciting. Okay, cool. I'm really getting into this cybersecurity topic. Wait, I had one stupid question, which is uh, what is the etymology of hash in this context? Like, did the blender create this? Like, who came up with this word? Sorry, it's my linguistic fascination. Okay. The word hash in the context of computing and cryptography comes from the idea of chopping or mixing up data. Here's a closer look at its etymology and how it relates to hash functions. First, culinary origins. The English word hash originally referred to a dish by chopping up various ingredients, like from hacher, okay, which means to chop. Think of a hash dish where ingredients are mixed together. And then if you adapt it to data, it takes the input data of any side, it chops it up through a mathematical process to produce this fixed line output. This is very cool. Okay, so we're really hashing it. Oh my God, I'm getting so like, you know how when you study biology, there's like such beauty in understanding like the organelles and the cells and how everything is just like like a little universe of its own contained in every cell of the body. I'm having the same wonder learning about what is a hash function. Maybe I should start a new career in cryptography. Okay, that's very cool. So I will write here, like with my words, what I think it means. But probably it's very wrong wording. But I will write down what I think it means. So I think it means that every block every block's data is hashed to create an output. For example, a series of letters and numbers. All the outputs have the same length. Okay, this is clear. And they basically constitute mixed up or mashed up input data. So you can crush and mess the original data. Sorry, I'm a slow typer because I've been switching between German keyboard and English keyboard and French keyboard the whole day. So you can crush and mess the original data into this one fixed length output, but you can't guess based on the output what was here before, what was the input, let's say. What was the input? Okay. And then, which is really the marvelous thing, the elegance. Maybe I add this one detail that even a small change. Whoa, where are we? Even a small change in the input will totally change the output, the hash, which is the hash. Okay? And then here I can put the elegance here is that you have, you put the hash of block 1 into block 2, and then as an input data, so you kind of refer to it. Okay, it starts to become a little bit annoying, I know, as an input data. And then, oh la la, you put the hash of block 1 into block 2 as an input data. And then you hash block 2 including the block 1. Wow, this is so cool. And it means that even if you try to hack block 1 and somehow you manage to escape verification of this hash 1, it will mess up the whole chain. And it will be visible immediately after this block. And also, so imagine now we're not in block 1 and block 2, but let's say we are at block 3 and block 4. All right, let me think. You're at block 3 and block 4. Imagine you still managed to mess up hash 3, but inside of the block 3 is also the hash of the block 2. So really, it becomes really hard to mess, because you have to basically mess all the hashes upwards and downwards in your block, unless you mess up block number 1, which I guess it would mess everything up, right? So, okay, that's super cool. That's super elegant. I need to learn more about this, cybersecurity stuff. But for now, I think this level of knowledge is enough for me. I have to digest it slowly. I want to understand a little bit more about, I want to understand a little bit more about the crypto, about Bitcoin and stuff. Oh my God, I'm getting a headache. Okay, this is super cool, but this is just a lot to process. Um, let me explain. Let me ask. Let me ask. What's the purpose of Bitcoin? Getting really philosophical. What's the purpose? Okay, so Bitcoin was originally created as a way to make electronic transactions without relying on traditional banks or other central authorities. Here's a simple breakdown of the purpose. Decentralized digital currency. I'm mumbling and rumbling again. Bitcoin allows people to send and receive money directly peer-to-peer. This means you don't need a bank or a payment company in the middle. Transactions are made directly between users over a global network. What's the problem with the banks? Why are they banks? What's the point? Okay. Oh, it's here in point 2. By eliminating intermediaries, Bitcoins give users more control over their money. This can be valuable in places where the financial system is unreliable or where people have limited access to traditional banking. I can say a lot about this, but I would rather shut up, I don't want any problems, but yeah, I've traveled enough. Security and transparency. Bitcoin uses blockchain technology, which is a public digital ledger. I think this concept we got it, to record every transaction. This ledger is maintained by a network of computers around the world, making the system resistant to fraud and tampering. I think this one, I just got my aha moment. I got it. This one, I got it. Limited supply and store of value. Bitcoin has a fixed supply of 21 million coins. This scarcity is designed to make it resistant to inflation, meaning it can serve as a kind of digital gold or store of value over time. This one I will add it to my questions. I don't know if we have time to explore it today, but let me put it here. Limited supply and store. I will put it here up as in my questions. I'm just making like nice little bullet points. Boom. Okay. Censorship resistance. Because no single entity controls Bitcoin, it's much harder for government or organization to block or censor transactions. This can be important for protecting financial freedom. I'm gonna try to get this one. In summary, Bitcoin's purpose is to provide a secure, decentralized way to transfer value globally, giving individuals more control over their finances, offering a new form of money that isn't tied. But what's the problem with traditional systems? Like, don't we want to have people take care of our money? I don't know. I don't know. I'm like notoriously bad with money. I just eat all of my money out. Like, I just love food, in restaurants, and I travel too much. So, traditional financial systems like banks, credit institutions, and payment processors are built around centralized authorities. While they work well, in many cases, there are several challenges or problems that critics point to. Centralizations and single points of failure. Controlled concentration. Because a central authority manages the system, there is a risk that mistakes, fraud, or mismanagement at that central point can affect everyone. Vulnerability. If a central institution faces technical issues, hacks, or financial problems, a large number of people can be impacted. Okay, and I guess the blockchain is more resilient to this. Fine. Agreed. Agreed. I agree with the crypto bros so far. I mean, it never happened to me, but it could. High fees and slow transactions. Intermediary. Multiple intermediaries like banks and payment networks are involved in processing transactions, especially international ones. This can lead to higher fees and slower processing times. Fees for transfer, currency conversion, or maintaining accounts can be burdensome for many users. Okay, so I think we're gonna get into some finance topics, but I guess we don't need so the intermediaries are here to check that, I guess, that things are legit and to record it. In a world with blockchain, I guess we don't need intermediaries because we have the thing going directly and it's transparent. We can't reverse the process if you're scammed. Because in a bank, you also have like an insurance or some people who help you, like if you're scammed. So let me ask. Let's ask. Oh yeah, here was the supply store value of Bitcoin. Then we have here, we had another topic, which was, what was it? Yeah, what happens if you get scammed in Bitcoins and in a bank, they pay you back or block your transaction if you are. I wonder what it would mean for like, what would it mean? What would it mean for insurances? Oh, oops, this was, sorry, a mess. Oh la 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 la. Oh la la. Ça m'agace ça, tiens. Hop, we will put this in the limited supply question. Oh my God, okay, so we're here. Yeah, okay, it's annoying. If I want to send money to Senegal or whatever, I always have to pay like so much money. Or like the worst one is like, sorry if you are listening, please don't threaten me. The worst one is this, how is it called? This bank that Western Union. Oh my God. OMG, you can send cash anywhere in the world, but it's really like they take their percentage, that's for sure. Okay, lack of transparency and opacity. Complex operation. The inner working of centralized systems can be complex, not always transparent, leaving users uncertain about where their monies go or how fees are calculated. Sometimes fees and charges are not clearly explained, which can lead to distrust. Yeah, I mean, I think this has to do more about the bank company culture, because you could make this transparent. Like you need new technology to do this, right? You know, if you work as an innovation manager, the first thing that the decision makers tell you is like, can't you solve this within existing technology? Why do you need to increase like uncertainty and risk into something new? Okay, then censorship and limited financial sovereignty. Central authorities can restrict, freeze, or reverse transactions. This means if a bank suspects something unusual, it might block your access to your fund. People in underbanked regions or those who lack proper documentation might find it difficult to access financial services control. Actually, I had this problem when I tried to pay for my visa for Uganda. My bank was blocking everything as soon as I was in East Africa. Okay, then inflation and monetary policy risk. Money supply control. Central banks can print more money, which may lead to inflation. This reduces the value of money over time, potentially eroding savings. This I've heard about. I need to learn about this a little bit more. Okay, I will add this to my list of questions. And then policy decisions. Decisions made by central authorities are influenced by political or economic agendas. Yeah, we know about this. Like, you know, which might not always align with the interests of every individual. Yeah, like printing money or like changing the worth. Like, we had, I think it was probably the same in other countries, like ancient franc and new franc. I think we had this also in Algeria. Like, people are still counting cents because the money was so devalued that then you had to always divide the value of the money depending on the situation with hyperinflation. So, but to be honest, to be fair, to be real, honestly, look at Bitcoin. Like, as I speak, I think like yesterday it was like almost, I don't know, actually, I don't check every day, okay, but it was like 90K last time I checked. And back in the days, you could buy it for a few euros per Bitcoin. So is that not a form of a uncontrollable inflation? Like, I've never seen such an inflation with real money. So let me add this into my file of questions. Like, we're having more questions than answers. I'm so sorry. And like, what's the deal with the speculation slash inflation of Bitcoin? Like, it was also totally crazy. Totally crazy. I'm really starting already to get completely burnt out from all of this data and information. So I'm gonna stop here. I don't want my brain to explode because of Bitcoin and blockchain. So let's take a break and we meet another day where I will finally look at the videos, because otherwise I'm gonna sit here for like 4 hours, 5 hours. Half an hour per day is enough. All right. So what did we learn today? We learned about this. I'm really excited about this proof of work mechanism, proof of work consensus mechanism. This is so cool. Like, I feel like I really learned something very elegant and techy. You have your kind of password or whatever data amount, then you put it into a hash function, you put the hash function into the next block, and then the next block is also hashed, but so that's why you cannot break into the blockchain. Every block of the chain is dependent from the previous and the next one through this hash function. This is super cool. I'm happy I learned this. I'm happy I learned about this topic. I have way more questions about monetary policy and financial and the value of money and why is Bitcoin better and limited number of coins. Okay, we will do it next time. We'll do it next time because I already drank too many coffees and my heart is gonna explode and I'm feeling stressed. So I feel a bit less dumb. I hope you felt also a little bit more enlightened and remembered the hash function. And talk soon.